Hey everybody, welcome back to the Julie and Jim Traber podcast. I'm Jim Traber along with my beautiful wife, Mrs. Julie Traber. How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
We just got in a little bit of a brawl right before we went on the air. She wasn't treating me very well. I work today and everything, and I'm coming in here, and I just get home, and Mr. Pitts is here.
Goodness.
Happy birthday to Jay Pitts. It's very nice. He's we won't tell you how old he is because he's worried about it, but he's fine. He's a lot younger than I am. And a whole bunch, about same age. Julie's about the same age as you. But anyway, this, what's going on? You're getting on to me, and then you come in and you go, "Hi, how you doing?" You're good at that, aren't you?
Can we restart this again?
No, we're starting.
Oh
this is
gosh.
part of the beginning. We're starting with it.
I'm good. The sun was out today. The snow is melting. I'm very happy about it.
Are you?
Yes.
I like you in green.
Thank you.
You look like a little Irish girl. Don't you have some Irish in you?
Yes. My family way down the line was from Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Can you speak any with the accent?
No, I wish I could. I love that accent.
I wish I had an accent.
I guess if I went over there, because I can pick up accents pretty easily.
You do. You do it all the time.
But I feel like if I went over there, I could pick it up. Or if I'm around somebody for a while, but just I can't on the fly.
I was going to tell you that if I had a Australian or an English or an Irish or a Scottish accent, I would be a multimillionaire in my business.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be a superstar because everyone loves listening to that.
If you could pick an accent,
Australian.
You would go Australian.
How about you?
I do love the Australian accent. We've watched a lot of the.
We literally should move to England.
The Irish and Scottish shows too, though, and I like their accent.
Oh, I do too. I do. No, I like them too.
And it's funny because the dialect changes depending on what part of the country. But I'm like, I guess that's the way it is in America too. In the South, we've got that very southern accent.
No, that's exactly right. Everybody's so wondering about. Even in England, the northern England and the southern England people talk different. It's just like we are.
It's just like us. But
look at somebody from Minnesota and somebody from Louisiana.
But it's so much cuter in their
you're right.
With their accent. Right.
By the way, I know we're not doing it on shows today, but I want to let everyone listen closely, people out there. I know you like the shows that we've given you before. I just want to tell you, look for shows with this guy named James Norton. He is one of the best actors. I just love this guy.
He was a really bad guy in a show that we watched. It was called Happy Valley.
Yeah, Happy Valley. And then he was a priest.
This was such a good show. It's only 3 seasons.
Yeah, great.
There's never going to be any more. And the really cool thing, listen to this, Jay. The really cool thing about this show is they cut the first 2 seasons.
Right.
And then they waited 7 years to film the third one because there
was a little boy who was important. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Wanted the young kid to grow up. She wanted to keep it consistent.
Yep.
So when they say 7 years later, it's literally 7 years later.
They waited 7 years. Everybody else had aged, and this boy went from like 10 years old to 17 years old or something like that. And I would have been so mad if we watched it in real time.
Yes.
But, it was a brilliant idea. But then he left that show, and I mean, was he wicked in that show?
Yeah, it was so bad.
Then he leaves the show. The next show, I say, Jewel, let's watch what James Norton is in. And so we go and we look, and we go to this next show, and he is a priest.
Yeah.
And it's Grantchester.
From one extreme, it just shows his acting.
He's really good.
Ability because he went from,
And he was wonderful.
He was so good. And in fact, I told our daughter this weekend, we were snowed in, couldn't go to church. And she said, well, did you watch it on TV? And I said, we did watch it on TV, but when we've been watching this show, Grantchester, where this actor that we love he's not a priest, he's a vicar.
A vicar, yeah, vicar.
But he gives a sermon
at the end of every show. Just about a 2 or 3 minute deal.
And it's wonderful.
Great. He's great.
So
I'm telling you.
I feel like we've been getting a lot of church.
Whoever
watching
wrote
him.
that knows about the church.
They're a believer. I think they're a believer.
But in the 3rd season, they got rid of him and brought in another daggone vicar.
Yeah,
that's
they
kind of
changed
thing.
it up.
But then I said, now we started a new show called King and Conqueror, and we're only like 3 into it. But he's in this one, and now he's an earl and he's a fighter. I'm telling you,
he's a good actor.
Doesn't he look like Robert Redford sometimes?
Yeah, especially in the
Grantchester
as the priest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, this guy is a tremendous actor.
Yeah,
So
I've totally
look for
gotten a
him.
gem into the British shows now.
I love them. I think they're better than we are, man. I do. And the one thing, let me tell you this, and you're going to be upset that I say this, but I'm going to say it. Here in the United States, especially with women, we always worry about what we look like. It's so important what you look like. So when you watch an American show, very rarely will there be a woman on there that doesn't look presentable, doesn't look good.
I just said that in America, it seems like they put more stock in what people look like when they're casting versus their acting ability. And I feel like on these British shows, they go with the acting.
In other words, what I'm saying to you, there are some mullions on the show. There are some ugly people.
Not really, but they're all great
There's a couple.
actors.
You're too nice.
They're all great
actors. They're all really good actors. They'll put some Yardbird woman on here in the United States.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. But James Norton, write it down. Go find his place. Happy Valley was a hidden gem, wasn't it?
Okay, I'm going to reel you back now because it was. Yes, go watch it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Last week, we left him on a cliffhanger. We actually named our podcast, I know you never look at that, but Snowpocalypse.
I look at it. It's on my deal.
Because that's what the weathermen were predicting was upward. We could get anywhere from like 6 inches to, I think European models were saying like 22.
European model said 22 inches, yeah.
So let everybody know how we ended up. We're alive. We
got 10 inches here in Edmond. The weird thing about it is that it was like we got 10, but like 10 miles from here, they might have gotten 6. Like down in Norman, they got about 5 or 6. That's where your mom and dad were. By the way, you want to know how wonderful this woman is? Just listen to this. She's working her tail off with those grandbabies. She drove down to Norman. She brought food to her mom and dad. She made sure they were okay. Food for a couple days. It was unbelievable. And she had a lot of work to do, and she still went down there and did it. You're impressive, girl. You really are.
Well,
You're an awesome
to make
woman.
sure they were all tucked into the house.
And your dad actually said thank you to you.
He did.
He doesn't thank us very much for things, but
he always says thank you. What he doesn't do, my dad writes a sermon every day on Facebook and posts it. And most days not most days, anytime there's a situation where the family would get recognized, he leaves me out. It's like he forgets that I'm one of his children. But he did tell me, because yesterday was it yesterday that I sent the soup, or was it the day before?
Day before, I think.
Day before, I had a DoorDash sent. Yeah. Because I thought they were probably sick of their groceries, and I'm going to send them soup.
You got them some great barbecue.
I got them some Charleston 2 days ago.
2 days ago, yeah.
I sent him Charleston's baked potato soup and some spinach artichoke dip and some of their croissants. And he was like, thank you so much, Julie. That was my favorite. And he said, I actually mentioned you this time on my post.
No way. Well, there you go. You've made it.
So that was a big deal.
See, the problem is that Julie has done such amazing things in her life that they were like, okay, she's okay. Let's go here. So, but anyway, they're wonderful people. We love them dearly in their 80s.
Yeah,
and I just thought that was wonderful that you did
away, that. And then you and I hunkered down.
We had, I wrote a post, a story on my Instagram, and I said, when I was young, I hated to be in the house for an hour. I said, now we're working on the 3rd day, and I feel wonderful. I mean, we had a great time.
We were excited. I honestly did not. So today is Wednesday. We're cutting the podcast on Wednesday. I was in the house from lunch on Friday till yesterday. I think I left the house at 4. That was the first time I left the house.
Well, I didn't leave Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then Tuesday,
you ventured out.
I did not leave the house on Tuesday, did I? I think today's the first day I left. The first day my car went out.
Yesterday you ran to the pharmacy and did some things.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you did some running around.
I thought that was this morning. Anyway, it was wonderful. And let me tell you, if you listen to our podcast religiously, you'll know we talk a lot about being best friends and that kind of stuff. And I'm telling you, if you're an empty nester and you have your best friend that you're married to, there is nothing better than just sitting here and having no responsibilities. I had to watch some sports, obviously, like the football and stuff. But when it wasn't football on or basketball, Julie and I were hunkered down. We had our blanket, the fire. We were watching the snow fall. I got that bird buddy. My birds have been unbelievable.
You did enjoy your bird buddy.
Oh, I love it, man. We got all the, because I made sure I filled it up. I went out in the snow, didn't I, to make sure that they have it. And got some beautiful cardinals and everything. I'm just becoming an old man. I'm an old man.
I was just excited. We probably could have gotten out. I mean, I know people in the north and people that snow, they're like, what are they talking about?
Well, you know me. I've driven. I can drive
but
in it.
I'm here,
good.
Everything
People
shuts
are
down.
idiots.
Yes.
Oh, they're so bad. And when you go out here, for people, the people that are listening, like, you know, where you're used to getting a bunch of snow, if you go out to drive here, you're either going to find somebody going 10 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour. There's no in between. They're either going to be flying all over the place and you know you're going to see them in a ditch, or the person is just scared to death of everything. Yeah. And I will tell a quick story. Quick story. When I was young, I was turning 16. My birthday's the day after Christmas. So on like December 20th in that year, 1977, we got a big store, so like 6 inches. So my mama back in Maryland, she goes, get in the car. My mom was from upstate New York. So she made me go up to the church parking lot. She said, okay, take off and learn how to. So she taught me how to drive in the snow and how to go against the curve and everything. And I'm a machine. I can drive in that so easily. Now, if it's ice, nobody can drive. But in the snow, I'm really good. But I'm not going to drive with these amateurs that don't know what they're doing, you know?
Yeah. I feel like Jay said, if you're driving on the snow, you're safe. What happens here is it starts melting.
Right.
And in the afternoon, it's not.
And it turns to ice.
Yeah. It melts it. And then you do have that ice.
And then you get black ice, too. The black ice is really bad.
So I was a little nervous going out this morning, but everything was fine.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Everything was good.
I give it up to the state of Oklahoma, ODOT. They did a really, really good job with all the roads and everything. They were really prepared, so I'm very happy about that.
I will tell you, though, just staying indoors for that many days in a row and snacking, eating all of our snacks, these pants were a little tight, buttoning up tonight.
I put on a few pounds. We did good, though. We had a good time, man. We really did.
It's our body. It's like, you know, our forefathers had to live in the cold and go hunt and stuff. And so our bodies feel like when it's cold like that, it's got to hold on to calories.
Well, let me tell you this, too. We love going on vacations.
Yeah. Where's that coming from?
Well, can I finish?
Okay, sure.
We love going on vacations, but on vacations, we're getting out and doing stuff.
Yeah.
But on this, all you did was just stay home.
Well, and mostly our vacations, we go places warm.
That's right. Yeah.
Like we usually choose to go somewhere warm. And so I don't ever feel like eating as much when I'm warm. I don't know why that is. But when I'm cold, all I want to do is snack. I want comfort food.
We should take a video of our pantry and see how many snacks we have in there. We look like we have like 7 children.
Yeah.
But grandbabies come over and eat them too.
We went to Atwood's to get salt.
Gosh.
The day of the storm was coming in, so Friday.
If y'all don't know, Atwood's is just one of the greatest stores.
It's like a Tractor Supply store.
Right, but
so you can get for people that know this is questionable. That's where all the people around here get their ivermectin.
That's right, ivermectin. There you go.
I know that. You can go get salt for your.
That's what we got. We got bags of salt.
You can get pots and pans.
You can get everything.
You can get work boots.
It's awesome.
Jim and I went for candy.
That's right.
We loaded up on candy.
So
everybody's buying like snow shovels, all this stuff. Jim and I go up to the register.
We had a big thing of candy.
We have candy.
And we did buy the salt.
Yeah, we did get some salt.
But yeah, it was fun, man. It was really fun.
We survived it. Our electricity stayed on the whole time.
We dripped our faucets a couple of the nights when it was really, really cold.
And we snuggled. We snuggled a lot.
It was, man, that blanket I bought you is worth it, isn't it? It's
Definitely.
one of the best things I've ever bought. You know why? Because I love it. I like to buy you things that are good for me. Okay. By the way, I want to let everybody know. I love when people listen to our podcast and then comment. We're on Instagram at Jim Traber. I would love for you to follow and obviously subscribe to our podcast. We also now have a YouTube channel. That's the Julie and Jim Traber podcast, and we'd love for you to subscribe there. And then we get people that sometimes send in things. Well, every single week, Julie puts up our podcast on my Instagram at Jim Traber. We also have at Traberhood, which is also for it. Anyway, And some people will listen to the clip that we have, and they'll say something about the clip. Maybe they didn't listen to the whole thing. Well, this week, from last week's, remember I had a hoodie on, and the hoodie was looking, but anyway. Some guy texted me and goes, all he said was the message was, you look like you're 80 years old. Okay? Now, first of all, why would someone do that? All they would do that to do is just make you feel bad, right? I mean, there's no other reason. Would you ever do that to somebody?
No, but
See, people, you don't understand, people. If you don't listen to my radio show, there's a bunch of people that can't stand me. I'm just telling you, if you did a poll of the people that listen to me, I would say that 70% of them like me and 30 can't stand me.
I just think any public figure who posts anything, if you go down and look at the comments, that's if they allow there to be comments. I would say most of them are hateful.
Yeah, you're right. It is ugly. There's a lot of ugliness.
You get one mean comment.
I get a lot more than that. Trust me. But I don't fight with them and stuff. But 80 years old. I mean, why would some dude say that?
Let me just say.
What?
You've brought this up how many times since that happened?
This is what I'm going to say. Okay, this is it.
You do not look 80.
I promise you.
Yeah.
That the Yardbird who sent that, and any of the rest of you that think that I look old. I wish that you could be inside my body for a day.
Because you do feel 80.
I wish that you could feel what I feel, okay? I can't explain it to you. I'm not asking for sympathy. I just think if you think I look 80, I think I look 90. How about that? I think I look even older than 80 years old.
Hey,
the way my body and my face and everything is. What?
In all seriousness.
What?
You're the hottest 80-year-old I've ever been with.
Oh, that's awful nice.
I just want you to know that.
Are we done yet? Is we done? Or is it over with now?
This is a perfect lead-in.
No, a perfect lead-in to talking about, go ahead.
To what I wanted to talk about tonight.
Can I give a quick plug to our man, J.R. Holmes?
Yeah.
JR is the best, man. I mean, we changed his commercial on the radio the other day, and I was so happy to say that he's one of the top 10 injury lawyers, personal injury lawyers in the state of Oklahoma, because that's what he does. He's the best ever. JR and Associates, all they do is help people, and they helped us. We had that horrible, horrible accident, and Julie is maybe getting a little better, but boy, it's been a long, what is it, 3 years coming up? Or 2?
It'll be 3 in May.
It'll be 3 in May, yeah. And what they did for us, Julie, you tell them, with doctors and everything was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, he helped us navigate the entire thing, from the car to the doctors to the appointments. I mean, it just really, for me, even finding out what was wrong with me, because I went through several doctors who were like, there's nothing wrong with you.
You know what I thought was cool?
What?
We never talked to an insurance company once.
No, we did. You didn't.
In the beginning. Oh, you did?
I
oh, that's
did
right. They were
multiple
asking you
times.
questions. Well,
No.
I didn't. That makes me feel better.
No.
What?
You always interrupt me. Don't do that. I talked to them multiple times, and what they said was, we were told there wasn't another car involved in the accident.
Oh, that's right. In the beginning, yeah, she lied, yeah.
That was the whole thing. That's what started us down this path.
But once he took over, we never talked to him again. Yeah,
right.
Okay.
But yeah, that was just the most frustrating thing we've ever been to. So yeah, hopefully you're never put in that situation ever. But if you know somebody, especially like in the storms, I've seen a lot of accidents going on with the ice. If you ever find yourself in a situation where it's not just a simple, call the insurance and it should be that way, and you need help navigating, I would call J.R. Holmes and Associates.
It's simple. Anybody you know or if they've had a car accident and it's not their fault, call 405-524-1011. 524-1011. J.R. Holmes and Associates. They will do you right. Great man, too. Honest. I mean, integrity. Great man. Okay. What do you got?
Okay. So, as I was saying, that whole little story of yours is a perfect lead-in, because
about me being 80 years old?
Well, just about negative comments and how much stock with social media people put in comments and likes and validation on the internet and all that stuff. But do you remember a while back? Well, let me ask you this question first. I'm going to back up a little bit. Have you ever been 100% confident that you were right about something, but then eventually you found out you were 100% wrong?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Do you have any examples of that?
I mean,
off the top of your head?
With my radio show, I mean...
Just on a topic or on a
Well,
person?
yeah, I mean, because I pride myself on talking ahead of time.
Yeah.
You know,
Going out on a limb.
I go out on limbs. There's many people that don't do any of that.
Right.
I like to go out on limbs. So yeah, I can be dead wrong on players and things
But
like
most
that.
of the time when you're doing that, you're basing it on opinion,
Yeah,
right?
I'm speculating.
You're speculating. But I'm talking about, we've all known those people who they speak very authoritatively, like what they're saying is factual.
You talking about me now?
No, I'm saying anybody.
But you come out, you say to me, there are no facts for that.
Okay, I'm going to do, just for the record, as we get started, this is not about you, okay? This is for everybody. It's just an interesting
You're a little bit ornery
conversation.
tonight, aren't you? A little bit ornery tonight, okay? Yeah, I mean, I'm just tipping you off like that, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to be
Okay.
quiet. Go ahead. No, I mean, be quiet for this thing. You go ahead.
Okay.
I'm waiting.
I was trying to think of a couple scenarios where I've been that way. And I would say that when I was younger about marriage, I was very definitive about what I would and would not put up with. You know, like how I thought marriage should look, how my husband was going to act.
Oh, tell me. I want to hear some of them.
Well, you know, you would just, not you. When I was younger, and probably I've heard a lot of girls say this, if my husband ever did such and such, I would leave him. Or I wouldn't talk to him. I would move out, or you had very definitive. The biggest one is if my husband ever cheated on me, I would divorce him immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're just everything is very black and white when you're young.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an even better one. People who don't have children discussing what type of parents they're going to be when they have children.
Oh, you mean like how strict they're going to be or whatever?
Just how well behaved their kids are going to be, because they're not going to allow this. They're not going to allow tablets. You know, my kids are not going to be on tablets.
Yeah, good luck with that.
My kids are, I don't know, you name it. I can't even remember what my dream scenario was when I was young. But you know those people, well, like when you're in the thick of it, and then people who have no experience at all are speaking very definitively about a subject, and you're
Right.
just like, okay, just wait.
Yeah,
Just
good
wait.
luck.
You know, that's why this whole thing struck me, because I'd never heard a name for it before. But there's an actual psychological name to this called the Dunning-Kruger Effect. Have you ever heard of that before?
No, who's Dunning-Kruger?
Great question. I'm so glad you asked. So, psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger coined this phrase. They did a test. They tested a bunch of college students back in 1999. They tested them on grammar, logic, and humor. And then they asked the students to basically say or guess how they thought they performed. So grade themselves to see where they thought they ended up. The students who were in the 12th percentile believed that they scored in the 62nd percentile. So when in reality, they scored 88% less than the higher averaging students. So in other words, the people who were the worst, who scored the worst, thought they were smarter, thought they were better.
Mm-hmm.
And the students who scored really, really high on the test underestimated. So the whole thought behind it is there's two sides to this whole principle. And then I want to get your thoughts on this. The first side is that the least knowledgeable person believes, or the least knowledgeable believes that they're the smartest people. They think they're the smartest.
Okay.
And then the most intelligent people may sound less sure and actually may doubt themselves. Whereas the people who aren't that intelligent don't. What are your thoughts on this? I thought you'd have a lot to say about this.
I mean, I've met a bunch of dumb people that think they're smart. Remember I put that.
This is what I was going to bring up.
I put this up on my Instagram feed, and you know how people, I think this should be a saying. Like Albert Einstein and people like that have sayings that have been going for 1,000 years.
I'm going to quote him tonight, by the way.
Well, I'm telling you, I think mine was great. I said, I can't stand people that are smart that act stupid, and people that are stupid that act smart.
That think they're smart.
Yeah. And I love that saying.
It's not like, I think you said pretend they're smart.
Did I? I thought I said
Maybe you said think they're smart.
Yeah, either way.
Because that is the point, that they do think that they're smart.
Right. Well, if they think they're smart, they're going to pretend like it too.
Right.
They're going to talk like they are.
Right. But they're not faking it. Like they really think they are smart.
Let me
like
ask you
they
this.
think
Is
they're
this
more
are
intelligent.
we talking more like academics? Or are we talking more about common sense or both?
I think both.
Yeah.
Just, intelligent versus unintelligent.
Because you can be really, really smart and have no idea what the heck's going on around you.
Here's another good one, because I loved that they tested them on humor. I think humor is a very personal thing. Like there's some comedians that you think are hysterical, and I don't think they're that funny. There's certain comedians that I think are really funny, and I'll send it to other people, and they'll just be like, I don't think they're that funny. Like our daughter went to see Nate Bargatze, and she was like, I didn't think he was as funny as a lot of the guys that opened for him. But I love that really dry wit. Like I think people like that they just make me laugh.
You do laugh.
I do laugh a lot. I just like
our guy with the guitar.
I love a dry wit. I think it's just so smart and funny. But not everybody thinks that humor. So humor is a very personal thing. But there's nothing worse than somebody who thinks they're really funny.
Oh, my gosh.
And they're just not funny.
And there's nothing worse who thinks somebody's funny and they're not, and they're on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
That's when it's the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a dude that's on another station here,
and
he thinks that he is literally Bob Hope, and he is not funny at all. Yeah,
No.
That drives me crazy. And I will tell you this, if there was a dude that was on the show with me and he tried to act like that, on a break, I'd say, dude, you're not that funny. Stop it. You act like you're some comedian, but it's not that funny.
Well, I heard somebody, I heard somebody on a reel or something, maybe it was a TikTok video, talking about this, and I was like, I've never heard of this before. But he was bringing up the point that people now watching TikTok or watching reels, they'll get a snippet of a video. So say the whole speech that somebody gave is like 15 minutes, and then somebody condenses it down to a 2-minute snippet or even a 30-second clip, and then people are commenting and making judgments on like they're an expert on that, and they feel like they've heard enough to now cancel this person or berate this person or attack this person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be a deal where when we grew up, we used something called critical thinking, which you would actually go read the whole article, or you'd listen to the whole speech, or you would do research on a topic, and then you would make up your mind. You'd hear both sides of an argument.
We live in the society nowadays. It's the
Right.
microwave society. Everything is get it done. Here we go. Boom.
I
What's short?
know.
Boom, boom.
So this study was actually done back in ’99, and it did make me think, how much worse is that for this whole concept? Like, this is a real thing. Now, I do need to say the other side of it. A lot of researchers are like, you can't just say that somebody who's talking the most confidently or the most, what's the word I'm trying to say?
Strongly, boldly.
Yes, who's acting the most competent or acting the most confident is unintelligent. Right? You can't say that.
Well, no.
Because sometimes it has to do with their personality, or they're an optimistic person.
That's why I wanted to bring up, is it common sense or is it academia? Because I think that there's really smart people, like brilliant people, that don't know what the heck's going on, like with common sense things.
Right.
And vice versa.
That's a really
I think there's
good point.
people that aren't that smart, but they know exactly what's supposed to be done as far as common sense. So when you talk about, quote, intelligence, I think there's two kinds of intelligence. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of that whole thing of street smart and book smart,
That's
right?
exactly right. Yeah.
But yeah, in this test, I did think that it was interesting because they not only took grammar, which you're taught in school, but they used logic, which is interesting, because some people think that they are very logical.
Right.
And
usually the really smart people aren't that logical, but.
And then humor, which is really an interesting way to grade. So I just thought the whole thing was fascinating, because really what they came down to is that they said that cognitive bias, where low skill equals overestimated confidence, and high skill individuals often underestimate themselves. And I also think that comes across in how people present themselves too.
I think yours truly beats that down a little bit, though, because I'm at the top of it, and sorry,
I
talk about myself a lot.
I do think you're an interesting case study.
Yes, I am.
Because you actually scored really high in testing, right?
Right.
So you actually are intelligent. You would
Right.
score well. And I also think when you're given logical questions, you do really well in that scenario. You've
But-
got a great sense of humor.
But I'm gonna let you know.
What's that?
You know, you said the smarter people just kind of sit back and don't. You know what I'm saying?
They don't act as confident.
That's right.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
act very
You're an
confident.
interesting case study.
I
I
know.
think you're one of the ones that don't fit into their.
Well, I got to tell you something, little girl. Look in
Yeah.
the mirror, because you don't fit into it either.
I think that I am not as confident as you.
Well, no, there's no. I mean, I'm at a different level. I'm
You're at a
cocky.
different
I mean, people
level.
think I'm ridiculously arrogant sometimes, but you though know how good you are at what you do, and you. Now, when I met you, you weren't like that.
I was going to say I don't think it's nearly that way.
I think in the last 30 years, and I'm not going to take all the credit, but I think in the last 30 years, you have turned into
I've blossomed.
You have blossomed, yes.
Thank
and how could
you.
you not blossom?
With you watering
in
me.
my arms. But listen, I'm being serious though. No, you don't go to my level. My level is ridiculous. I won't want anybody to go to my level. But you have really gotten a lot more confident about yourself. Because you're an amazing mother, you ran the company. Now, as a grandmother, people come to you and they want to know. We had Fat Jack, and they want to do their children like you did. I mean, you've done a lot of unbelievably impressive things, and I think that you're more confident about everything.
Well, thank
since
you.
When
I
when
do
you're
think
younger.
with age comes more confidence for sure. I did love with what he said in this, though. He said, "You don't know what you don't know," right? So the less you know.
Right. But you fake it if you don't know.
I think they know a little bit, and so they think, well, that's all there is to know, because they don't know what they don't
what's
know.
What's that saying? You know a little bit, you're dangerous.
Is that the saying?
Yeah, if it's something like that. You know a little bit, something about only knowing a little bit, that's dangerous, because it's because of what you're saying. You find out, like,
you know enough to be dangerous.
Yeah, that's what it is.
is.
If there's 10 points and you've got 3 of them, you think, okay, I don't need the other. I know what I know. I know what it is now.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I do
where
that,
did
by
I
the
write
way.
this?
I do that, by the way. I'll openly admit that I'm not very good at that. I will. You tell me something and I know everything about it.
I was trying to find a statement that I wrote down. I'll find it here in a minute. But so it was like, you don't know what you don't know, but for intelligent people, it's almost like the more you know, the more you recognize, you have an awareness of what you don't know. Like the more intelligent you are,
want more. You want
the
to
more
learn
you
more.
recognize the gaps in your knowledge, and the more you realize it's infinite, right? Like knowledge is kind of infinite. And so the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
That trips me out about smart people, because I'm not that kind of smart, where they just always keep wanting to learn more and learn. You know what? If I never learn another thing in my life, I'm fine. I mean,
Well, that's kind of goes against this whole thing.
I know. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is not me.
Is that you keep learning, like you're curious. You keep up a curiosity. I will say this about you. You say that, but that's not true. You're a very curious person. You're always wanting to know about different things. Now, do you want to learn about technology? No. There's certain things where you're like, okay, I don't have any more capacity in this brain for that.
No, I had brain surgery.
But
so
you're a very
gone.
curious person, and I think that is important to stay curious and to learn. Here's a great one that I thought of for you is poker, because I feel like when you first started playing poker, you were like. You felt like
I was terrible.
You felt like, though, that you were going to be great.
Yep.
Because you've been great at everything you've tried.
Well, and math and stuff were my stuff.
Right. And you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to kill this. And then you weren't. You weren't great at it.
Getting killed.
And here's another thing you're not great at. You're not always great at caring about watching other people and listening to other people, and, especially people you don't know or you're not invested in or whatever. And with poker, you have to be paying attention to people's body language and their tells and all those things. And I thought, I don't know about this. I don't know if you're going to be great at that. And then after you just were terrible for quite a while, you were like, I'm going to start studying this game and I'm going to get better at it. And you really started studying it. And the more you know, the more I still hear you after a terrible hand where I feel like you did everything you could do, like you did it right. I'll still hear you call people and get advice from them. Like, what should I have done differently?
Right, better,
Where did I go wrong?
People that I believe that are better than me.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of what I'm talking about with this, is that I think that there's a lot of people who they hear a snippet and they make a decision and then they're dogmatic about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'll let you speak to the poker thing.
No, I think you're exactly right. Matter of fact, I think that I think it's interesting in poker. I was here and then I've moved up and then I'm trying to get to another level. And I think I probably need to start learning a little bit even more. You know, you got some of these guys
Right.
like Faraz Jaka, who was on this show and stuff, that like teach and stuff. And I feel like maybe I need to start doing a little bit more of that. But I don't know how much time I have to do that, but you know what I'm saying? And yeah, you're right. Listen to me. I hate losing. I don't use the word hate very much. I hate losing. I hate being embarrassed. I do not like getting knocked out of a poker tournament with 500 people in the room and 250 know who I am, and I get up from the table and walk out because I got knocked out. I can't stand that. I wish I could just slither on the ground out of the room, you know?
Yeah.
And so I just decided I wasn't going to be that. Now, I still lose. I mean, I so far in
You know what?
2000.
So do the professionals.
You're right. It's unbelievable. I saw this guy who's maybe the best player in the world. His name is Stephen Chidwick. Now, listen to this. They wanted to know how much money he made in his poker career. And he said, I have cashed out for about $35 million.
Wow.
And he said, and I've made somewhere between 7 and 10 million. Think about that.
I think
And he's one of the best players in the world.
I think that's refreshing to hear somebody say it.
Oh, I know.
Because all they do is they post their winnings, their earnings.
Those big boys don't. Like Daniel Negreanu, he will tell you everything he does.
I'm saying it's so few and far between.
You're right. It is. You're right.
You know,
you're right.
The really good ones track it. Like they know.
Sure.
And I love that they share that because it is not an easy life. And not everybody makes that kind of money.
No.
It's,
Now, he said he's up like $10 million,
Sure.
which is unbelievably impressive, but it's not as much as you think it is.
Yeah.
You know, you think, you know, because.
For most people, it's don't quit your day job.
And,
right?
you know, like, for instance, my wife, if we go to a tournament and I buy in and I get knocked out, if it's a bigger tournament, she doesn't want me to rebuy. These dudes, it's their job. They'll rebuy 4 times, 5 times. They don't care. Daniel Negreanu down in the Bahamas bought in 11 times to that final tournament.
Right.
And it was a $27,000 deal. So he spent almost $300,000 in the tournament because first place was $10 million.
Right.
That's the way they think, you know?
So I'm just bringing that up as an example with you that you could have just stayed bad at it and beaten your head against a wall, right?
Well, that would be stupid, but you're right. I could have.
But, or some people just quit. I'm going to go on to the next hobby because I've mastered that. Like I know how to play poker. I'm good. I'm good in my home game.
I got to win something big.
You want to win a massive tournament.
Yeah.
It's like you with the Steelers. You're not happy with winning 10 games during the regular season.
That's
You
right.
want to win a championship.
That's what it's about. Yeah.
But that's the sign of intelligence, right?
Think so? Could be stupidity. I could be knocking my head against the wall.
I think so. I think that's what this whole thing was about, which I really appreciated, is that you can't on these comments and things take the negative comments because the majority of people are taking that little snippet, that 30-second snippet that we put on there, and they make a observation about us, right?
I was thinking about this today because I knew we were going to talk about it. I went today during my show. I was in studio and I got my phone out, and during the break, you know, I was looking at people that had messaged me, and I just was pushing on them real quick. Didn't care who the name was or what they said, but I was looking at how many people go, love your show, listen every day, been listening for 30 years. But, you know, all these guys, But those are like, okay, thank you. Almost like I think they should say that. But
Right.
the one dude who says, you look 80,
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? I look 80.
Exactly.
That's what we do. We worry about negative, but the positive we just let go by.
And you worry about a negative from somebody that you don't even
Who
know.
doesn't matter. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
This was something I wanted to bring up. So it says that overconfident people often ignore or dismiss advice that they think they know everything already. So they just ignore input from outside.
I can be that kind of guy.
People who lack skill also lack the metacognitive ability to reflect on their own thinking. So in other words, if they don't recognize their own mistakes because they're not aware of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They think they're doing well. If you don't see what you're doing wrong, you think you're doing well. So if you don't get additional input, then you think you know everything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you don't know.
Here's this. I'll tell you my little stack on that. If it's something that I really know, I don't want your opinion. Like, I will tell you this, and I'll look right in this camera and say it. I know as much about baseball as anybody on this planet. I believe that in my heart. I do. Now, if I'm talking about something else that I don't know about, then I'll listen. You see what I'm saying? That's the way I am. But if you call me up and go, well, Jim, if you play quarterback, the minute you say something like that, I'm like, yeah, okay, dude. I played quarterback in college. I know how to play quarterback. I know a lot of, does that make sense? So I am a little bit of both on that.
It does, but I will just say this.
You can always learn. I'm sure I could always learn.
I think it's just tapping into the curiosity of, who's great about this? Jay, your friend Jay.
Jay
Bird.
Hughes? Yeah,
Yes.
Jay Bird, yeah.
I love watching him when he was here because he would walk up to just the most random person and he'd just start asking them questions. Your sister's that way.
You're right.
I have noticed that about people that I think are pretty intelligent, pretty smart, is there is a natural curiosity about them. And he doesn't necessarily need to get into an argument about why you're wrong or why he disagrees with you. And you may not even know how he feels on a particular topic. He's just curious why you think what you think,
Jay Bird does that all the time.
That's my point. Yeah. And so does Teresa.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask her opinion, she'll give it to you. But I really respect that. Like, I have so much respect for that. Just taking a step back and finding out somebody else's perspective on it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think when it comes to sports, what you're saying is exactly right. I'll hear people on the radio being very opinionated about something to do with sports, and that person has never played sports.
And I will say this, you don't have to play sports to be able to talk about it.
I agree.
But some of the things they want to talk about, like
Yes.
things in a locker room or something, they have no idea what they're talking about.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why I love Al Eshbeck.
Or something about an injury, and
things that I've had.
I'll hear your perspective on it because you've actually been on the field. And I do think that brings a different perspective to the conversation.
It does.
That they will never be able to give.
Right. That's one of the things I love about Al Eshbeck. Al Eshbeck has never played a lot of real high sports or anything. And he's done this for coming up on 50 years in sports talk radio. But you know what? If you start talking about inside the locker room or things are down on the field, Al doesn't start telling you about it.
Right.
But if he talks about being a journalist, you better listen to him.
Well, and I also think he has studied these sports, right?
Absolutely.
To the point, and he's like a walking encyclopedia.
He is. He's amazing, yeah.
So that's not, he's got so much information to share, and he's got so many amazing stories and so much life experience. But there's that aspect of it that he's not going to have. I think that's true with life. Here's a perfect example, and we've laughed about this since, but our daughter, Chelsea and Chet, had children later than we did, right? So they were in their 30s before they had their first child. And they had read literally every parenting book. Every book. And so basically when their first child came, they did not need any information, any input from any of us because they knew. They knew what they were going to do.
They knew it all.
And
Until 11 o'clock one night, Chelsea calls you up crying, going, Mom, I just want a couple of hours. We
need to
And
sleep.
tell them what they were doing. They were both tell them about how they were doing it.
They were getting up with the baby, both of them.
Both of them.
And
At the same time,
at the
every
same
night.
time. And
Instead of switching and let one sleep,
Yeah.
nothing.
so they got on a better schedule after that. But then later, I found out that they were waking the baby up
To eat.
every 2 hours. So they were training him to wake up
And what'd your mama say?
every 2 hours. Not their mama. I said to them,
What'd you
I was
say?
like, listen, you never wake up a sleeping baby. I was told that by my mother. She was told that by her mother. I mean, this is like,
Yeah.
I
And they're
didn't-
the greatest. I mean, they are the most wonderful
I didn't
people ever.
realize that nobody had put that in a book.
Well, you would think that someone would put it in the book.
But I said, never wake. And she said, no, I'm supposed to feed him every 2 hours. And I go,
yeah,
yeah, during the day, but nobody had put
At
that in a
night,
book. You let him go as long
You
as he
would think
can.
that someone would
you
put
want
it
him
in
to
the
go
book. 7, 8,
But
9
I
hours.
said,
if you
she
can.
didn't
never
believe
wait. And she
me.
said,
She
no, I'm supposed to
waited
be-
till
she saw the pediatrician. And the pediatrician, you know what the pediatrician said?
Say it.
She said, never wake up a sleeping baby.
Oh, gosh. Chelsea
Right?
was probably like going, oh, my gosh, my mom's right. It's hard to admit your mom's
Anyway,
right.
that's just some funny little
Yeah, right,
stories.
yeah.
But, so this is funny. So then our youngest daughter has her first baby at 32. And she, of course, they've read the book. She knows everything. And she was leaving our house. We were talking about it, and Chelsea said, just wait, Mom, till she has baby number 2. It'll all work itself out.
Yeah, now Chelsea's an experienced one with the 2 babies.
So I think that there's an awful lot of information that can be gleaned from the books, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you were saying, it's the common sense, the life experience, and sometimes through all that book learning, you dismiss advice and like
Yeah.
wise information from mothers and grandmothers who have done
I
it.
always think about all these books that are written nowadays. 100 years ago, none of these books, women didn't know what they were doing, and they had babies in the fields or wherever, and they did the job, and the babies were fine and stuff.
Well, they passed down all this wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of that gets lost with these psychiatrists writing books about how you raise children and how you parent children. And I'm saying you can get a lot of good information from that.
I think we should have all 3 of our daughters on again now that they're all mothers.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great
Which
podcast to
they
talk
were all
about.
mothers, just Courtney wasn't
Courtney
at that
wasn't.
point. Right.
Yeah, but I'm just saying now they're further along. We did that like 3 years ago, so that means there was no
we should have
little
another one.
Clyde.
Maybe around Mother's Day we'll do it again.
I think that'd be a really good idea to get all 3 of them on again.
I don't know who this guy is. Do you know who Bertrand Russell is?
I know who. I've heard his name.
Well, he has a great, I don't know anything else about him, but he had a great wise statement that said, the problem with the whole world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves and wise people so full of doubt. I loved that. Fools and fanatics are certain of themselves. So this was just a good reminder. I would encourage you to go in and watch some of the videos about this. I was not aware of this study that was done, but it does make sense, and it does caution us to maybe not be a fool or a fanatic and to watch a TikTok video and think, we've figured out the whole thing. Maybe go watch the whole video, maybe do some research, use our critical thinking skills. I think that should come back a little bit. But I wanted to just turn it a little bit towards marriage because I think we can do this in marriage quite a bit. You know what I mean? Where you watch a little video or you read an article and you go, well, that's what's wrong with my spouse, right? When in reality, we could just sit down and ask our spouse, what's bothering them or how could I be better? I think it's just a reminder to become a lifelong student and to open ourselves to learning all there is to know about our spouse. Because I know you've dealt with me go through when we first got married and I was fresh off of a divorce pretty much with toddlers to you've had to be a spouse for me through my kids being teenagers. You like to bring up premenopause. You like to bring up, so I think that we change as we grow, right? As we get older.
Sure.
And you have to
I'm much more different now than I was when you met me.
study the woman that I
Yeah.
have evolved into, and vice versa.
No, now this is the truth, though.
Yeah.
Eh, Do you feel like that this is a little bit towards me, some of this stuff? I mean, because you know what I think? What'd you say? A fool, a fanatic, and a wise man? I think I'm all three of those.
Well, there we go. Then it's not about you.
Sweetie,
Yeah.
I think that you kind of, when you saw this, you were like, this will be good for Jim. Tell the truth.
Here is why it was interesting to me, because I do think you're Abby normal. I think you would test really high on this scale. But I think if they asked you to gauge yourself, you would have probably still overestimated how you would have performed on that test.
Yeah.
But you would have been in the upper.
Unless I did the test and I was having a hard time with it or something, you know.
I've never met anybody who is more confident than you.
I mean, it's a bad thing sometimes because a lot of people think, I said in the early, it's cocky and arrogant.
I'm saying this in the Truth Dome. I was more interested in this because I didn't feel like you did fit that mold. You know what I mean? Like, I
can be both sides.
Yeah, I do think you're Abby normal, but I do think it's an interesting idea to think about that. Number one, we don't want to be that person, right? I don't think any of us want to be that fool or that fanatic, right? We don't want to be that person that you wrote your little deal about. Like, there's nothing worse than a stupid person who thinks they're smart.
Right.
Nobody likes a know-it-all. Okay, so if you think you know everything and you're constantly interjecting, you're the know-it-all. You're the person that nobody likes, right? So I do think it's just a reminder for all of us to step back, be curious. But it's also a reminder that when we're putting so much stock in social media and comments and likes and the negative comments, the majority of people in social media and comments, the intelligent people are not going to be doing that sort of thing. They're not going to be sending you negative comments. They're not going to do that. The majority of people.
I know. I want to ask you a question.
Okay. The intelligent
How
people
far
are
into
not
our
going to be doing that
relationship
sort of
did you
thing.
figure
They're
out
not
that
gonna
I
be
had this ridiculous
sending
confidence?
you negative comments.
And when did you get used to it? Because I would think that some of the time in beginning when we weren't madly in love, you were probably like, gosh, this dude is just ridiculous.
Literally on our first date. I've told this story when we go back to our first date podcast, but I'll retell it. On our first date, I was so fed up with you that I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna be myself. Because up until that point, as you were bragging, I was like, just get through dinner.
What's the saying?
Hold on, just get through dinner. And then I finally was just like, I can't take it anymore. I said, do you really believe all of this stuff that you're saying about yourself? Or are you just trying to impress me? And you said, I remember the look on your face, and you leaned back in your seat and you were like, what are you talking about? You said, it ain't bragging if it's true.
It ain't bragging if it's true.
And I said, have you ever heard of the saying, you're not supposed to toot your own horn? I was bringing out all the Southern. Yeah, you were really laying it on. You were giving me the full resume.
I wanted you to know up
on
front.
That first date.
I wanted to know the level you were getting to.
And I just thought, I've literally never met anybody who's so conceited, ever. Yeah. It was just shocking. I think initially you didn't ask me one question about myself. You were just so busy trying to let me.
I figured if we were going to be together, I had a lot of time to find out about you. But then as we were driving home.
No. It wasn't even that. It was after I started saying this to you, I thought, I just can't take it anymore. I can't take it. I stopped being nice, Southern girl, and I started showing you my full personality. And then I found out I was having fun. I was enjoying the banter. And it ended up, so you asked me after dinner, you were like, would you like to go somewhere and get a drink? Prior to that, I would have said, no, take me home immediately. But by that point, I was having fun. So then we went to another restaurant where This is the second place that had your picture hanging on the wall.
Thank you
and
very
you
much.
strategically had me seated right by your picture.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure.
So,
Looks like it worked.
yes, I knew on the first date you were very, very confident. I will say this. I discovered later some of that was I do think you liked me and you were trying to like you wanted to get it all out. Like you wanted me to know.
Well, right.
You weren't just a yard bird.
I didn't want to have our first date be done and you didn't know exactly who I was. I wanted to get it all out there. For other reasons too, like for you, maybe whether you liked me or not. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I do. I recognize that now.
Yeah.
At the time, I just thought you were so full of yourself. By the end of the evening, I realized I think that was just like your nervous energy trying to just like tell me everything all at once.
I'll tell you probably when I laid that kiss on you at the end of the day going,
that didn't hurt.
That was probably the one that really brought you in.
You wouldn't have gotten to the kiss if I wouldn't have just said what I was thinking. Like I
don't believe a word of that.
This.
You were getting to the kiss.
No. I have been on dates before prior to you.
Listen, sweetie. These are yard birds down here.
That I did not say what I was thinking, and I just thought, just get through the date, and you'll never have to see this person again. That's where you were in the middle of the steak dinner. I was just like, yeah, just get through. Eat your steak, Julie. Eat the steak, because you're poor. You won't get steak for a while. Eat the steak. You never have to see this guy again. But
the old Traber charm.
It all worked out. Well, I think part of it is too, I didn't hide myself. I was like, I'm not going to be nice. And you actually liked that version of me, which was great.
I loved it. Yeah. I'm cool.
I appreciate that you liked not so nice Julie, right?
You were good. You were good. I loved it. Yeah, we had a great first date.
We did. It
turned
out great.
This has been awfully interesting.
Was it interesting?
Yeah,
Did you learn anything?
No, yeah. I learned about myself, that I'm who I am. I already knew I was that, but I learned a little bit more. No, I didn't. No. I love this stuff because I think it is true. I really do. There's a bunch of people walking around that are total idiots that think they know everything.
That they don't know what they don't know.
That's right. And then the people walking around that are really smart, they stay to themselves and they continue to get smarter by reading books and looking things and everything.
Well, they're hesitant. Like they seem more unsure. They're not so dogmatic because you know what? They know. There's a lot that they don't know.
Yep.
So don't be that person. Don't be that person to know it all.
I'm with you.
That's the key.
Why don't we talk a little bit about Rob's Ranch? What a great place this is. And this is a big time right now after the holidays because people are tying them on during the holidays. And then suddenly some person goes, oh my gosh, my life is falling apart. Or someone looks at somebody and says, we got to get them help. If you know anybody, okay, that needs help, especially
that's struggling with addictions, right?
That's right, addictions. This is a Christ-based recovery center for men. Now, they also have one for others, but the two biggest ones.
Well, they have an outpatient for others.
Right, Sayre and Purcell. They're the big men's ones. And then the one in Edmond is an outpatient for anybody, families, kids, whatever it is. But they help so many people.
And people come from all over.
Yep.
So you don't have to be from Oklahoma.
Right. You don't have to be from Oklahoma.
Go to robsranch.org.
robsranch.org. That's right. Find out all about them. And if you're just somebody that wants to donate money and help them out, at the bottom, there's a little donate bar that you can push on. But they're doing some great stuff, and we love them being a part of this show. So thank you to Rob's Ranch very, very much. Julie, thank you, too.
Thank you.
You work so hard to get these things together. You do a great job.
Thank you, sweetie.
I don't do anything. I just walk in the house and sit down.
Well, because you know it all already.
Thank goodness she knows what to say in the daggone truth dome. Thank you, Jill. We'll be back again. Tell all your friends and family. Don't forget about our YouTube channel, the Julie and Jim Traber Podcast. But every week we fire it out. And don't forget to go to Instagram at Jim Traber or at Traberhood. If there's something you want us to talk about, feel free to put it in there. We'll probably do another one of those here soon. But it doesn't matter. If you want to know more about something that we talk about, let us know. We're open for anything. So thank you so much for being here with the Julie and Jim Traber Podcast.